Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, we take a look at a new policy around drug and alcohol testing for students. A council hearing is underway. Do residents want the ward voting system to stay as is or be scrapped? And we find out what's in the pipeline to restrict the sale of legal highs. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Holly Buchanan. More Otago Polytechnic students are subject to drug and alcohol testing through a revised policy. It permits testing in response to accidents on campus as well as cases of just cause. And staff say it'll ensure students are fit to work in dangerous conditions.
Otago Polytechnic's home to a wide range of hands-on courses designed to get students experiencing what life is like in their chosen industry. A desire to ensure they're all safe has prompted an expansion in the organisation's drug policy. Previously, it's just applied to arboricultural studies, but the Polytech's Director of Organisational Development, Matt Carter, says it'll soon cover all areas that are potentially hazardous.
It just provides the ability for, if there's an accident or incident, or there's just cause is the term that's used, then testing can occur if necessary.
The second draft of the expanded policy has recently been considered. Carter says it's being changed to give students a choice in how they undergo drug and alcohol testing if there's just cause for that to occur. He says risk needs to be minimised in the more dangerous parts of the Polytech.
So it's about ensuring that people are fit for operating and working in that environment, and the other one is about modelling good practice, because a lot of industries are expecting people to be non-impaired as well when they get out into the workforce.
The Polytech's received about 12 formal submissions on the second draft. Feedback's been positive, with many people considering it a good move for safety. Now students and staff are getting a chance to have more input.
They will have that opportunity until the end of September, and then we will look at finalising the approach for an implementation in early 2016.
Carter says the policy should have a fairly minor impact on the average student, but he's hoping it'll make campus life much safer when it takes effect next year. David DeLorean, 39 Dunedin News.
And residents are being urged to protect themselves against whooping cough on the verge of an epidemic in Otago. More than 100 suspected cases of whooping cough have been reported to the Southern District Health Board in little over a week. Cases are spread throughout Otago and could lead to an epidemic in the region. That's according to a university researcher who's just done a study on the illness. She says whooping cough epidemics occur in 3 to 5 year cycles. Symptoms include a long-lasting cough, often accompanied by a whooping sound, as well as vomiting. The rate of whooping cough in children is more than twice that for adults. The local electoral system is set for a shake-up based on public opinion. Residents are speaking out about the way councillors are elected, and it's the current ward system that's dominating conversation.
When it comes to electing local councillors, Dunedin's divided into residential wards, with representatives for each up for public votes. But that's under review and the subject of a 2-day hearing. Submitter Lyndon Wiggery wants the ward system scrapped, and he's grateful for the opportunity to say so.
I've been waiting for a long time for the chance to vote for all 14 councillors in a large ward, and I think it's important to let the councillors know that there's a lot of us out there who would like to be able to afford that democratic opportunity.
Wiggery supports the proposal allowing residents to vote for any candidate vying for the 14 councillor positions available. He says it makes sense that people can get to know each one before deciding who to endorse.
There are certain issues that, say, the outer-lying rural or Mosgiel wards councillors may have a view on, but we can't have the chance to quiz them at election time as candidates, and they may make votes that are unpopular with us, but we've never had a chance to vote for them. So they need to be brought into the fold.
But not everyone wants the ward system to go, and among submitters in favour of the status quo is Lala Fraser. She says it's important different areas of the city have representatives with invested interests to highlight specific needs. Wiggery disagrees, confident that without wards, the best people for the job will rise to the top for the wider city's benefit.
If you've done a good job and you've generally been there for the people and you've listened and you've addressed the issues, then I'm sure your name will rise to the fore on the very full candidate paper that will be under STV, and the good ones will come through. That's our democratic system.
More than 40 submitters have been heard by council, and their views will aid next week's deliberations. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Well, police are searching for 2 women in relation to the daytime burglary of a Walter Street house in Mornington. The occupant arrived home at 1 in the afternoon to discover his front door kicked in and 2 female intruders inside. Police say the women stole a cell phone and several bottles of alcohol before fleeing the property in a red Toyota. Officers are following a strong line of inquiry in relation to the incident. A policy is being drafted to restrict the sale of legal highs in the city. Residents will be invited to submit their feedback before retailers can apply for sale licences. And the clock's ticking with new products set to come on the market.
The overwhelming condemnation of legal highs has died down since most products were pulled from shelves on government orders. But a subdued market remains, and it's being monitored by the City Council.
It's quite interesting. There are 5 premises in the city that are selling products that don't have psychotic substances in them, and apparently they're doing quite well. Yep. So yeah, once the approved products come in, I'd imagine there'll be quite a market. Yep.
In November, retailers will be allowed to apply for licences to sell legal highs. That's why the council's developing a policy in an attempt to control the local trade. It plans to keep sales within the CBD, away from schools, health facilities, playgrounds and the like.
By limiting them is to try and minimise the exposure to the more vulnerable people in the community, like the younger people, people with, dare I say, mental health issues and addiction issues.
But Metchin says that's not restrictive enough, according to other local authorities.
The police would have preferred the approved areas to be in the more commercial industrial areas, to get away from the main streets.
The draft policy is being refined before it's released for public consultation. Councillors will consider feedback and make a decision in October as retailers get their applications ready. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
And still to come on 39 Dunedin News, one of the city's top police officers talks to us about her recent win in the national running scene, and primary school pupils are learning new ways to interpret their favourite seasons.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Discover New Zealand's most innovative museum, Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. 14 stunning galleries, 3 distinct architectural styles, and 1 million intriguing stories are yours to discover at Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. Open daily next to Dunedin Railway Station and with free admission. Toitu Otago Settlers Museum.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I've found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
For 30 years, Southern Clams have harvested New Zealand littleneck clams in the coastal waters of Otago. Hand harvesting to order at the right place and time ensures perfection of every clam you eat. New Zealand littleneck clams, harvested for you by Southern Clams.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
A lifestyler, to me, is a person maybe wanting to escape the hustle and bustle of a big city, wanting some animals, maybe able to grow their own veggies, have chickens, get their own hens. A lifestyle block can be your supermarket, just a good way of living, and a lot of people enjoy that rather than being in a city. A very sustainable way to live.
Welcome back. Dunedin's ultra-fast broadband rollout is expected to take another 4 years to complete. So far, it's only half done with just 28,000 possible connections. They include homes, businesses and schools. The government aims to provide ultra-fast broadband access to 75% of the population by 2019. That's when Dunedin's rollout should be completed. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 is down 65 points and is now at 5,757. The Nikkei is down 384 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the Australian and down against all the other major currencies we follow. One of the city's top police officers is making her mark on the country's running scene. Inspector Mel Aitken has just won the New Zealand Masters Cross Country Championships, and she joins us now to talk about her success in the sport. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, thanks. So tell us about the Masters and the titles you've won.
So start of August I won the New Zealand Masters Cross Country Champs, which were based in Christchurch, so running against the country's top female runners. And I took out the title, so I was pretty happy.
And how does the win compare to your other racing successes?
Well, it's my first national title, so pretty exciting to get that. I've had a number of good local wins and a few good placings across the country at different races, but certainly tops the mark with getting a national title, so very happy.
Yeah, and I understand you ran another race just 2 hours after crossing the finish line. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, it was a bit unexpected, but the Otago senior women's team needed another member to make up the team to get a team placing. So I had a couple of hours in between the first race and the second, so I went and ran the second. And while I didn't win it, I actually came 6th in the country for that. So and I beat the other younger woman in the Otago team. So kind of happy.
And so explain to us, what's your training schedule like?
Well, I think it's fairly normal, but others think it's a bit extreme. So I try and average about 140 kilometres a week. I do all my training early morning before I get to work, and then in the weekends with my races. And I mix it up with roads and off-road and hills and speed work, and just to keep it quite exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and so how did you get into running in the first place?
Well, I don't really know. I used to ride horses and sort of got out of riding horses and needed to do something to keep fit. So about 3 years ago I thought I'd give running a shot, entered one competition and did all right in the competition, so I sort of got a bit of the bug for it when you do quite well, so, and it sort of just snowballed from there.
And what's the next race on your horizons?
So I've got a few local races. The next national race is in Tauranga on the 5th of September, and that's the New Zealand Road Champs. And then I go after that into marathon season, so I've got a race each month for the rest of the year, marathon, so quite a bit coming up.
Wow. And how do you prepare for all of that?
Well, I really just keep my training very similar each week, so I make sure I do the distances, mix it up with the speed work and the hill work, and and it just seems to be paying off.
And tell us, where's your favourite running spot here in Dunedin? You said you mix it up a bit, but what's the...
well, I'm a local, I live down the harbour, so the cycle track is certainly a favourite spot. I run it every day, but we've got some stunning places in the city to run, and up the Pineapple Track, and so I've got a number of different places, but around the harbour you really can't go past that. It's pretty beautiful, so yeah.
And what's your ultimate running goal here?
Well, I think sort of the sky's the limit. I think to be able to represent New Zealand one day would be awesome. I may be a bit ambitious to think that, but wearing a black singlet would be pretty cool, so who knows.
And finally, any advice for novice runners out there?
Well, yeah, look, I think you're never too old to start. So I started when I was 35, and some of the top females are actually a lot older than me. So if you've got a goal and you want to do it, just go for it. Don't let your age stop you, and fulfill your dreams. So.
And yeah, but that's all for tonight. So thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, hundreds of primary school pupils are learning the importance of art, and our Word on the Street team asks your views on the value of defensive driving courses.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
Tune into Girls Talk on Dunedin Television, where we show you what's hot in Dunedin.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Moving around the corner, overseas, Best Removals Otago Limited, specialists in household removals and business relocations, as well as packing materials, secure storage. Best Removals can do it all. 0800 266 834.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams.
Every reason, every season. reason, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Oh, a lifestyler can be anybody. We look at a lifestyler as someone who perhaps has been a farmer and is retiring into a smaller block. It could be someone who's working here in Dunedin and has a few acres at home. It could be mum and the kids with the pony on an acre. You know, it's anyone that's got a little bit of land rather than just the quarter-acre section.
Welcome back. Hundreds of primary school pupils are using art techniques to interpret their favourite seasons. Their work is part of the annual Peninsula Schools art exhibition on display at Bayfield High School, and it's aimed at proving the value and importance of art to young participants.
The recent cold snap is serving as inspiration for some of the city's budding young artists. 10 primary schools are involved in this year's Peninsula Schools art exhibition, held at Bayfield High School. And the college's head of art and photography is happy to promote art to the young pupils.
I think the purpose of holding this every year is to bring the cluster schools together from the peninsula and the area that we are in. But also it's just to promote that whole thing about thinking outside the square. We have literacy and numeracy that we have a lot of funding for from the ministry, but as far as creative arts is concerned, there's not a lot. Lammers
says the exhibition also allows teachers to see what's being done in other schools, so they can take ideas back to their own classrooms. This year, there's increased use of digital and photographic techniques, creating more diversity.
Standards seems to be getting higher all the time, and they come up with some wonderful ideas. I mean, as a secondary school teacher, you look at some of the stuff and say, oh, I never did that when I was at school, you know, and you know a lot of it's got to do with the teacher, but some of these kids just have wonderful ideas.
A number of awards have been dished out to entries from each school. Anderson's Bay pupil Honey Hinere is one recipient of a highly commended award. Her picture inspired by autumn, her favourite season.
It's the sunset with a tree, and the sunset, like its leaves are falling, so that's why we did it at school.
Honey's deciduous tree work features paint and Indian ink, and she says being able to use different materials and techniques is one of the reasons she loves art.
You can create stuff with paint and draw stuff with it.
Members of the public have until Friday to check out the exhibition and explore the seasons through a mixture of painting, photography, fashion and collage. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Well, researchers from the University of Otago have discovered that defensive driving course participants often go on to commit traffic offences. They say participants shouldn't get time discounts for full licences. So our Word on the Street team asked members of the public if defensive driving courses make better drivers.
Yes, they do.
What's that?
They make them aware of their problems that could appear.
I reckon yes, because they get to learn faster in how they do it, and they can also do it with an instructor most of the times, because my friend did one and he's a lot more sensible than my friend that didn't do one. My other friend, he crashed once and then my other one hasn't, so I think it's quite good.
I think they do, and I think every bit of knowledge helps.
Yeah, they do. Like, makes people more aware of what's going on and stuff like that. It's just safer, really.
Yes, because there've been many times when you'll be trying to cross the road and someone will be speeding and you'll nearly get hit by a car, and if defensive driving teaches you not to be speeding that much, then that makes the road safer. So yeah, it makes better drivers.
I don't really know too much. I've only just started getting my learners, but yeah, they seem pretty okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. They must have thought about it quite well, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it, but yeah.
Definitely. It teaches you different methods for looking at the road and all the dangers and basically stressful conditions. I think it makes really good drivers, yeah.
I think they would, because if it cuts a whole year off your licence, you'd expect it to, make you better. Otherwise, it's just sort of dangerous.
I believe that defensive driving courses help make better drivers. I don't necessarily say they make better drivers. I think it's what you decide you want out of it makes the better driver.
Yes, 100% yes. Yeah. I feel like you don't know what your natural reaction is going to be until it happens. So I feel like training yourself to react properly is better than just waiting to see what would happen if someone did, drive into you or cross in front of you or, yeah.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. An expanded drug policy being developed at Otago Polytechnic will subject more students to drug testing in cases of accidents and just cause. Residents have mixed views on whether the current ward voting system should be scrapped as part of a City Council review. And a new policy for the local sale of legal highs is being developed by the council before retailers apply for licences. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Philip Summerall.
Yes, thanks, Holly. Drift trikes. I don't know if many viewers have seen them sliding down the hills. We've got a story from them saying that they are responsible. Look how they're dressed and what they're doing, and part of the scene, and we should welcome them. There's a story on from the arts page on the art of being a magician. A chap who's coming to Dunedin, who's performed on cruise ships and is a great expert on card and gambling tricks of all things. And a couple of stories from the court pages. There's an Italian fraudster up for sentencing. Apparently he made credit cards and fish and game licenses. And also there's a woman who stole $20,000 from a charity. So that was also in court today.
All that in tomorrow's ODT. Thanks, Philip. And time now for a look at local weather.
This local weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
Starting with today's city view, looking out towards Carlton Hill. Around the city today it was 8 degrees in the central city at 3 p.m. and the same at the Gardens and out on the Tyree. Looking at the situation, a ridge of high pressure will weaken over the country today while a depression deepens in the Tasman Sea. To the forecast for the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. In Invercargill, a few showers and 14 degrees. Gore, showers later, also 14. Te Anau, rain and 12. Alexandra, cloud increasing, 13 degrees. Queenstown, late rain and 12. Oamaru, high cloud increasing at 13 degrees. Wanaka and Twizel, cloud increasing, 13. Here in Dunedin tonight, high cloud increasing and a low of 4. Tomorrow, mostly fine with fresh nor'westers, but some rain developing tomorrow evening or night. High of 10 and a low of 7. And on Friday, sou'westers and a few showers, a high of 12 and a low of 6. And finally to the Southern Clams tidal and fishing information. Low tide is at 9:16 a.m. tomorrow afternoon, followed by high tide at 2:56 p.m. Fishing is good, best at 11:23 a.m. And that's all for News Tonight. On behalf of the 39 News team, good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.